walls. Yes, I'm Paul O'Grady. I hope you're well. Well, it's been quite a week, really. It really has. And as you know, we lost the Queen of Showbiz herself, and I lost a very, very good friend. So in my second hour, I'm going to be paying tribute to Cilla Black, OBE, and I'm going to be sharing some personal stories with you, and we're going to be playing some music that Cilla loved. We're going to be playing Cilla songs, but also songs that she never sang, but there's various stories behind them, so stick with me. Anyway, but before then, we've got a triple from my mother's favourite, Barry White. Cilla Black there with Step Inside Love, and that was the original demo from the Abbey Road days with Paul McCartney on guitar. Anyway, I'm not Paul McCartney, I'm Paul O'Grady, and I'm just grateful that last week's show was pre-recorded before I found out the sad news about Cilla. So in this hour, I'm going to be remembering my friend. What can I say about Cilla Black that hasn't already been said in the world's media? Plenty, actually. I was really lucky to have known this lady for nearly 20 years, and during those 20 years, I've had 3 heart attacks, broke me little toe twice in a house in Spain, broke me nose in 4 places in a jacuzzi in Barbados. I've nearly been arrested twice. I've rode the Orient Express with her, and she nearly drowned me in a Venetian lagoon. I've been thrown out of a bar in New York, and we nearly maimed poor Sylvester Stallone outside a hotel. Yes, it's been a lot, she'd say a lot of fun. And today I'm going to celebrate her. So we're going to be playing some of her biggest hits, some lesser-known Cilla tracks, and a couple of her personal favourites. Now, Cilla didn't like to sing at all around the house. She didn't even like to listen to her own music. She'd go mad if Alfie, turn that off, Paul, get that off. And but when we went out, everybody, of course, was always at her, especially if we were in a bar where there was live music, you know, and they'd say, Cilla, come on, Cilla, get up and sing. And she used to panic. And, of course, she'd always throw it on to me. No, I'm not, but Paul will. I said, Paul won't. Paul can't sing, for one, and Paul hates getting up singing in public. But I usually was thrusted into the limelight by Cilla to take the heat off her, and I'd have to get up. And this was the thing, I always used to get up and sing. Now, we've got a recording of this with, believe it or not, Jeff Beck and Ronnie Wood on guitar and me on vocals at 6 o'clock in the morning in Ronnie's studio, with Cilla in the background shouting, yeet, and stiroo, and all this malarkey. But I don't think we can inflict that on the British public, because you never heard anything like it. So we're going to play the gentleman who sang it in the first place. Cilla was a huge fan of his, as I am as well. And this is a song that she absolutely loves. She used to say to me all the time, go on, Paul, get up and sing it. Here's Elvis, and it sums up our relationship, really, with Trouble. Especially there with Trouble. I tell you what, that brings back some memories, particularly when I fell off a piano in a bar in Spain. Brought Cilla down with me. Right, I've got an email here. Dear Paul, I had to write, as I'm sure so many others have, to say how shocked and saddened I was to hear of Cilla's death. She was far too young. I have very fond memories of her Saturday night music shows on BBC One. So many TV programmes of today owe her so much. That's so true, that. Blind Date and Surprise, Surprise were also a big part of my family viewing. Oh, how we'll miss her. And I suspect we'll never see the like of her again. Thank you for remembering her on your show, Paul. God bless. And that's from Maeve from Durham. Thank you for that, Maeve. And Cilla was the first woman to host her own show on primetime BBC One, and it ran for 8 years. And it regularly commanded audiences of over 22 million. It's amazing, isn't it? But that was how many channels were there then with the 3? Oh, just the 2 when we had 2 channels. Now we've got how many? Thousands. And I sit there. Do you do it at home? Sit there, flick, flick, flick. Nothing on. Nothing on. Right. One of the little known facts about Cilla, I always sort of had it in for her over this, is that indirectly she's responsible for my weekly Radio 2 show, because 12 years ago, Malcolm made a documentary about Cilla's life and work, and because there was nobody else available, he asked me to present it. And the rest is history, and here I am. So Cilla has got a lot to answer for. Anyway, up next, here's Malcolm's favourite Cilla song, and it's Baby We Can't Go Wrong. Cilla there with Baby We Can't Go Wrong from 1974. Here she is with Youre My World, and that was Cilla's second UK number one from 1964. I've got a couple of messages for you now. Hi Paul, one of the really important things to remember about Cilla is that we still have all her music. And let's not forget, she had 19 consecutive UK top 40 hits, including 2 consecutive number ones. And I know that she always wanted to be remembered first and foremost as a singer. And I'm delighted that you're playing so much of her music today. And that's from Peter from Finchley. Thanks for that, Peter. Well, it's a pleasure. She said to me, I want singer on my headstone. I said, why do you want to be known for being a sewing machine, Cilla? She said, I'll have you in a minute. I'm really going to miss that. I'll have you in a minute. Oh, hey, Paul. The other thing somebody told me, when she was relaying a tale about we went out together, she never said, oh, I got in a taxi with Paul and then, you know, we went into the restaurant. She always used to say, do you know what? He lashed me in the back of a cab and then lashed me in the restaurant. But she doesn't conjure up of an image of getting hold of her and dragging her in the back of a cab and dragging her. It was just her expression. Anyway, I've got a song that's coming up now, and it reminds me of Cilla's mother. Now, I never met this lady, but Cilla told me that we come from the same background, me and Cilla, both working class, both Liverpool Irish Catholics. Not a lot of money, but a lot of love in the house as we were growing up. And Cilla said when she got her first number one, she was walking down the street, absolutely delighted with herself. And one of the neighbours shouted across the road, "You're not a patch on your mother, girl," because Cilla's mother had a wonderful voice. She was a great yodeler, of course. And in Liverpool, there was a huge pub culture way before karaoke, where if you went out for a drink, everybody got up and sang their song. Everybody had a signature song. And you had to keep very quiet. You know, if anybody said, one singer, one song, and all this was shouted, and wail, and shiroo, and all these expressions. And so at family gatherings and parties and things, this was Cilla's mother's song, and she hadn't heard it since she was a teenager. And we were on holiday together, and she was telling me about it. And of course, now with the internet, I just went straight on it and downloaded about 6 versions for her. And she learnt it overnight. She took my machine away and with the headphones, and she learnt it overnight. And I got up in the morning, she sang it. Anyway, here it is. This is Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys with T for Texas. Cilla's song, that's Cilla's mother, and that was T for Texas, Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys, and that was recorded in 1937. And I tell you what, you haven't lived till you heard Cilla sing that in the Maldives. Top of her lungs. Could that girl yodel? Right, well, it's time now for our second triple this afternoon, and it's starring 3 lesser-known Cilla songs from across her recording career. So, Malcolm, take it away. And there we had the second of today's triples featuring Cilla Black, and we had Baby, Don't Change Your Mind, Imagine with our very close friend Cliff Richard, and Photograph. And don't forget, we'll have more triples for you next week. And also, I'm going to be chatting to Sir Cliff himself on next week's show. And if you'd like to suggest 3 great songs from one great artist, all you have to do is visit the show page at bbc.co.uk/Radio 2 and click on Take Part in the Show. Or if you fancy it, you can email me, and the email address is paulogrady@bbc.co.uk, or you can send me a letter, or you can just shout through the letterbox. We don't mind. Either way, we'll get it sorted for you. So, Mark, give me a minute.
You start when you want to start.
That always does me in, that one. Completely finishes me off. And that was recorded in 1965. And it was released in 1966. And it later prompted Cilla to call her autobiography, What's It All About? And Cilla fans take note, in 1985 she also penned another biographical book which was called Step Inside. So happy hunting if you're looking for that. Or something tells me something's going to happen tonight. And I've heard that many a time as we were stepping into a cab. And that reached number 3 in our mystery year. But what was that year? Have you any idea? The answer is 1971. So well done. Was that 1971 really? Anyway, Malcolm, play a jingle because we've got an extra special Lost TV theme for you. Now, today's Lost TV theme dates way back to 1984. There were 14 series between its debut in 84 and its last episode in December 2001. And it was initially broadcast live on a Sunday evening, and the show had a very simple format. It was where people were reunited with lost family and friends, or they received an unexpected treat. And the series featured a number of co-hosts, including Christopher Biggins, Bob Carroll-Gees, Gordon Burns and Tessa Sanderson. But the star of the show, of course, was Cilla. So our second Lost TV theme is the original song written by Kate Robbins for Surprise, Surprise. Takes you back to Saturday night, doesn't it? That was Surprise. Was it a Sunday? Oh, was it a Sunday? Really? Oh, I always thought it was a Saturday. Oh, well, there you go. No wonder I missed it. I always had the wrong channel on. No, I remember it well. I used to be always ironing when that was on, and I found myself smiling. Did you see that? Like grinning, against me bad thing. Because some of them were hard bitten at that age, I think quite mawkish. But I'd suddenly be aware I was grinning like a fool as I watched these people be reunited. It was a very touching programme, wasn't it? Now, as I was saying earlier, Cilla did huge series for the BBC, the Cilla Show. And when was that, Malcolm? Was it in the...
Late 60s through to
late 60s, yeah. With some fabulous guests. Everybody from Ethel Merman, I seem to remember me telling. And she was telling me about Ethel Merman. She said in rehearsals, Ethel came out and she was knitting. And she sat there, Ethel, and she went, I got rhythm, I got music. Very quiet. And Cilla said, I think she's lost it to Bobby. And then come the recording, Ethel sweeps up, I got it! And Cilla thought, oh, right, here's I know the tactic. She was obviously saving the voice, and didn't do it in rehearsal. Because when she first came to London, she was really homesick, Cilla. No, she was, for her mum's dinner and a bowl of scouse and all that, and she missed her family and her friends, particularly Pat, a mate in Liverpool. But the Beatles were down in London, and Alma Cogan. If you don't know who Alma Cogan is, ask your mother. And Alma used to throw these fabulous parties, and the Beatles always used to go, and Cilla used to go as well. And she was very, very friendly with Ringo, Cilla. So this one night, they went to Alma's, and then they went on to a club, and they went on. Anyway, she rolled into work at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it was a Sunday morning, and she thought it would be a very easy day. She just had a couple of songs to sing. However, she didn't. She had a big music number to perform called 40 Cups of Coffee with a load of boy dancers who threw her around and swung around their heads and all. But she was only a baby and she was full of energy, and of course she got through it. And there's no recording of it, which is a shame. And she was really proud of this number, really proud of it. She loved this song. So here's Mae Moore with 40 Cups of Coffee. Mae Moore's 40 Cups of Coffee, and that was one of Cilla's favourites, and it was recorded in 1953, and she sang that without an ounce of sleep. I think she did need 40 cups of coffee after a night out with Ringo at Alma Cogan's party. Now, today, Cilla's back in the charts, and I can't tell her, she'd be absolutely thrilled. She'd be very modest about it, but she'd be thrilled. But I know she'd be delighted. So to close this week's show, this is the song that sold 1 million copies the first time round, and it was a UK number one for 3 weeks back in 1964. And if you asked me, really, if you said to me, name a Cilla song, I'd say this one, definitely. So here she is, Cilla Black with Anyone Who Had a Heart. Anyone who had a heart there, Cilla Black. And I'd just like to say, Cilla, you'll be missed. Not just by me, but from all your legion of fans as well. Anyway, listen, thank you again for all your wonderful messages about Cilla. You've been very, very kind, you really have. And thanks also to the team and to my producer, Mr. Malcolm Prince. I shall be back next week, all being well, with triple starring Marvin Hamlish. And, of course, the fabulous KD Lang. And I'm going to be making an exclusive phone call to Sir Cliff Richard, so don't miss that. Thank you very much for listening and for your company this afternoon. And don't forget, your Sunday Night on Radio 2 continues directly after the 7 o'clock news. Ta-ra, everyone.
Ta-ra.
BBC News.